We're here obviously for the Canelo versus Kovalev fight. They're about to weigh in shortly, but what's your take on this fight? Canelo moving up 2 weight classes, both from an analyst perspective and also from a historical perspective.
Well, from a historical perspective, at least in what I consider the modern era, which is the post-World War II era, I don't think that middleweights would go up 15 pounds in the prime of their careers. Canelo's in his prime. Now, he's fighting a guy who's not in his prime. How much difference that makes? Well, it could be considerable. And I admire Canelo for trying this. I was surprised when the fight was made, and I'm curious to see what happens.
What do you think will happen?
I think at least at first Kovalev will try to box him because he's got a good stiff jab and he can punch, and he'll try to see what happens. And then depending on what happens, we may see another fight. I have imprinted in my mind the first time I saw an event of this kind. Archie Moore against Bobo Olson. Bobo Olson was a middleweight champion, and a pretty good one at a time when there were great middleweights. This would have been in the 50s. And Archie Moore knocked him out in the 3rd round. And so that's a measuring stick for me. Now, Kovalev isn't Archie Moore. I don't know if anybody was except him. But I want to see how the smaller guy, who is taking a risk to his credit, does against the bigger guy. And what I like about the fight is that, to me, it's another example of Alvarez wanting to be a great man, not just a great fighter. He has continually fought in a way above his weight when his management said, no, you don't want that fight, okay? Mayweather being an example, and some others. I don't know if it's just that he needs it for himself, but I think he's just one of those rare fighters who has captured an audience, and he wants to show that he's worthy of being captured, and he wants to prove to himself that he is one of those athletes or figures in popular culture in general who is going to have a lasting impact, who's going to be a great man.
If he wins this fight, where do you think he ranks amongst the all-time Mexican greats?
You know what? I'm not smart enough to know that, or Mexican enough. But but it's fascinating to me that when they saw him on television, and he was a teenager, and he looked like he just came over from Dublin, and they were curious about him, and after a while, the Mexican fight fans, who are as knowledgeable as any fight fans, or more so, they designated him as their next great champion. And to the point where there was a backlash. He was a star before he had proven himself. And he keeps proving himself.
What's up? My name is Julian Williams, and I take Expedite. Some days I walk into the gym, and I don't necessarily feel like working. Take a scoop or 2 of this, be ready to go. It's the best stuff I've ever had. Expedite.